Okay, glad I didn't forget that. So we'll come back to this. Re'ei anochi nosem lefneicha hayom, see, which is in the singular, not re'u. Anochi nosem, I'm presenting before you in the plural. Starts in the singular, two words later, it's in the plural. And I think that we can garner from this, as Moshe Rabbeinu is addressing Klal Yisrael in his waning days, and he was letting them know that yes, Lefneichem, this is all before you as a kehillah, as a people, as a gathering, as a nation. But I'm asking each one of you, Re'eh, look at yourselves as the individual, as a yachid, because every kehillah, every Jewish community is comprised of individuals, and that's what makes up the kehillah. My father, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, was known for building this world-renowned kehillah. Started with barely a minyan in the Saperstein, the Nat Saperstein's basement, and as you know, how it flourished to having hundreds of members. But if my father was able to do that, and it was such a beautiful ceremony, I must say, this past Sunday with the Rabbi Schonfeld way in front of the shul, a beautiful ceremony and so deserving. If my father was known for and renowned for building this beautiful kehillah, Kew Gardens Hills, which became world renowned, it was not because he was looking for the international scene, where he was looking to impress the world. As you know, if you know anything about my father, it was, and he told me this in many different ways, it was the individual attention. The kol yachid v'yachid, each individual person is that precious. And that is how you have to build people, and that is how you have to build a community. And I had the opportunity to learn from the best. I was a kid in shul, but I also absorbed what he was saying. And as I grew into the rabbinate, I leaned on him for almost everything question that I had in my formative years, in my later years. The seichel hayasha, the sense of just doing things that are just and correct and smart and intelligent. That was my father. And he used to tell me, some rabbis think that, you make grandiose speeches, you get awards at dinners and have international recognition. That's how you build a kehillah. My father said those rabbis are making a big mistake, and many of them did not really last as long as they could have in the rabbinate. It's the kol yachid v'yachid, the individual attention, that's really important. I was not the trailblazing kind of a rabbi, didn't come up with all kind of new innovative ideas. Yeah, here and there I had something, let's say Shabbos learning program, but I was not the trailblazing kind of a rabbi. But what I did learn from my father, and I hoped that I did succeed in some measure, was to give attention to the individual. Kol yachid v'yachid, each person, and as the Chazal put it, that daito shel kol yachid v'yachid, each individual Jew is a prism, is a personality, is a universe, all unto themselves. Each one with their own makeup, each one with their own needs, each one with their own perfections, each one with their own flaws, and you need individual attention. And I hope that at least I know I made the effort to try to work with the individuals, if I was not that trailblazing kind of a rabbi, the headline grabbing kind of a rabbi. I didn't look to be presidents of organizations. Yes, I did the CJV and now been appointed, but that's because I realized it's a real tachlis oriented organization. But I was not out there for that, and I did make the effort to be in touch with each individual. And over the years, and I say thanks to my father, we had, and I refer to this every so often, Hall of Fame Balabatim, Hall of Fame Balabatim that were just singular in the way they were every rabbi's dream in a sense, and every rabbi's hopeful product in a sense. And they had personalities, and they were generous, or some were argumentative. But these were people who were just all, in our young Israel of Kew Gardens Hills, all quality people. And I have to tell you, if you think about it, over the years, and I think I'm making a correct statement, not one of our Balabatim in the 70 years of duration was ever imprisoned. I'm talking about for financial misdeeds, was never imprisoned or even charged up, as far as I know, on very serious counts. Yes, some people have problem with taxes. Who doesn't? Some people have more serious problems, just financial mishandling. But we didn't have people who were just not straight over all the years. And a lot of that, I credit my father. But as I say, that's part of our record of having Hall of Fame Balabatim. Rabbi Eddie Davis, many of you know or you know of him. He's retired now. And I think maybe carries the title of emeritus. I'm sorry. Rabbi Eddie Davis was the rabbi of Young Israel of Fort Lauderdale. Many of our Balabatim would go there over the winter months. And some even longer. And he once said to me, sending me those diamonds, because that's exactly true. That our shul was a jewelry box full of different type of precious stones. And I'm feel very fortunate having the great bracha of having been allowed to deal with such a special community and such special diamonds. And like a diamond merchant counts as each little diamond one by one, they're all precious. I had that opportunity over the last 30 years to count diamond after diamond after diamond. We shared in their simchas, we shared lo aleinu, their misfortunes, and what we took part together with them. The bracha we mentioned at the outset of this of the pasuk. So we see them presenting before you today bracha uklala, the brachas, the great blessings uklala and the curses. And what's the bracha? As a bracha asher tishma'u. The bracha is that you will listen, you will hearken to my ways. And I confer my bracha upon this kehillah that they should continue asher tishma'u, to continue to listen to the ways of the Torah, to listen to what your conscience tells you, your Torah conscience tells you, to listen to what you're being taught, and to try to pass that on to the next generation. And at this moment, that above all, to listen to the new Rabbi Rosenfeld, as he comes in and makes the transition. Kolos chalos kashos, every beginning, as the Chazal put it, are difficult. Every new undertaking is a challenge. And so Rabbi Rosenfeld will be presented with that haskalah, with a new challenge. And there'll be adjustments, as in any relationship, getting to know each other. There'll be adjustments that have to be made. But I plead with you, and I'm sure you will, knowing the type of people that comprise Young Israel of Kew Gardens Hills, give him a chance, give him the break. He'll need to work his way into the transition. You may say that's not the way we used to do things, or how come Rabbi Schonfeld did this and he's not doing that, or how come he's doing this and we never did that before. He's a wonderful human being. I've gotten to know him, not well, I can say, but I've spoken to him just this week alone for 55 minutes on the phone, and a couple of weeks before that. The way I know him and the way it's reported to me with members of our shul, I've dealt with him extensively. He is one of those rabbis that really has no ego. As much as a rabbi cannot have an ego, he really is very, very far removed from being egocentric, that's for sure. And I think he wants to do the right thing. He has a great sense of yashar, of what's appropriate. And please work with him. Va'ani, as Yaakov Avinu said to his children as he was departing, Va'ani bevoy bin padan aram mesol rochel, and myself, what am I doing for myself? As Rashi describes it. It's daunting. I've been here since my birth, and literally, We lived at 147-56 70th Road, across the street from Yeshiva Central Queens, which is actually where I had my bris, held them in my parents' house at the time. And Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal was my Sunday. That's where I lived. That's where I grew up, and that's where I learned to love my mother. And allow me just to share you a picture. And this was in that house, 14756. I was a cute kid then, believe it or not. And I don't know if I can make it bigger, I'm not sure, but we'll leave it at this. Okay, I was a cute kid, and my mother was precious. And this picture is taken at 14756. In other words, although there's a lot of brush here, but a couple of houses up over here would be PS 165. And so my beginnings here are really literally at birth, not all that easy to depart, as you might imagine. And then, of course, I was Zocha. Well, we suffered the misfortune of losing my mother at age 7. She was age 37, 1959. And then my father married my mother, Ruth. And as was mentioned by Rory Lansman he didn't quite realize how significant his words were, but he was dwelling on at the ceremony this Sunday, the house that Ruth built. And later, one of my sisters went over to him and said, do you know that the house that Ruth built is actually Ruth Schonfeld? He said, oh my gosh, I wish I would have thought of that at the moment. Something that I have expressed in the past. The house that Ruth built and Lottie before her. So I hope to have chavrusas to learn. I'm ready to set up something with a cousin of mine, my dear cousin, Dr. Yoel Jacobowitz, to learn together. You know, you have all these grandiose plans. I'm going to learn. Then when it comes down to it, you know, you find an excuse one or the other. I do hope that I can keep that up. I hope to write a book. The book is not anything profound, the life of Yoel Schonfeld, but I want to write a book called Ima, and that will be about my mother, Ruth Olashalma, not a biography so much in her, but how she succeeded in blending a family. There's very little that's, if anything, that's written on that. And it comes into play so often these days when you have families coming from the broken home, whether it's due to divorce or whether it's due to widowhood, the families find themselves having to combine. And it takes such a chachma, such a sense of wisdom to know how to blend a family, and no one was more successful than my mother, Ruth. I hope to write something about that. It won't be a big book. It'll be a booklet, because I don't want to have it a lengthy biography and story of her life kind of book, more to that point. I hope to continue writing for the Queens Jewish Link. I'll be writing from Baltimore, won't be writing from a local vantage point. And I am working now, I have been working with Torah Masorah to produce a textbook for children, that is elementary school yeshiva kids, on the importance of honesty in business, honesty altogether, integrity. And as I told Torah Masorah when I first met with them, it was all a follow-up to an article that I'd written on the topic. And it was about 2-3 years ago. I met with them at Torah Masorah, and I explained you have all kind of very important booklets, and they are, and they were earth-shattering in dealing with abuse, sexual abuse, in our, not just our community, but in the schools, and they did produce appropriate booklets for kids, and they knew how to do it. I said, by the same token, kids have to be trained from the earliest times on. That lo signa, lo sigzol, and the Aseret Dibros is not just a fancy pasuk that we read in you know, the Shavuos or in Parshas Yisro, Parshas V'eschanan, but this is it has to be a way of life for us. honesty. There's a Hoshen Mishpat for a reason. But the kids have to be drilled it into their head to be honest the way you deal in business and the way you conduct yourself. And it should be a constant Kiddush Hashem. So I'm quite deep into that work in the name of my parents, Alayhim Shalom. Of course, I hope to do some fishing, some good fishing out there in the Baltimore area, and naturally to spend time with my grandchildren. But hopefully, Mitzvah Hashem, I will be in touch with all of you diamonds. I'll polish you, you polish me, and hopefully that relationship will last for an eternity. I see, by the way, Steve Jacobs is on this Zoom. I want to wish Steve that his wife Odelia, she should not know from any. They're going Miyagel and Simcha. They will be making a Simcha in just a week from this Sunday. Precious family and their mother, Steve's mother-in-law, Odelia's mother, was, if you ever got to know her, a very driven woman. If you ever got to speak to her, if you wonder where Odelia gets it from, she got that enthusiasm from her mother. Very driven about the needs of Klal Yisrael. So I wish you all, this is not the end because we still have a Shabbos to spend together and a Shalosh Shudas. And I understand it's a very Baruch Hashem successful enrollment and sponsorship for the Shalosh Shudas. I appreciate each and every one of you who participated in one way or the other. It's greatly appreciated. We hope to see you there. So again, this is the beginning, I guess, of my Tzeichem L'Shaloms, and but it's really, it's the end of an era, no doubt about it. But hopefully, the beginning of a new type of relationship between me and the Balabatim of Young Israel of Kew Gardens Hills, and hopefully will herald in a very successful time ahead with Rav Daniel Rosenfeld. So I wish you well. I thank you, and have a wonderful Shabbos to all.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Thank you for all your requests.
Please join us Shabbos at the Shalosh Shudas and Mincha at 6:55. Men and women are cordially invited.
Yeah, and I want to say, Stewie just spoke up. I'm not going to go lavish about Stewie now, but although he deserves every word that I would say. But all the presidents of this shul, my father used to just love. I don't think there was a president that really gave him service. That was a rabbi eater. I was a kid growing up. I would have known that in the every president of the shul in one fashion or other. Some more than others. Some more laid back. Some more involved. But all the presidents of the shul, all the chairmen of the board, everybody, every member and every active participant in the board was just very special. All our Hall of Famers, and I thank you once again. And have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Rabbi Yoel,
Yeah.
retirement is a job. You have to work at it.
Well, I got to tell you something. I got a call from an old friend of mine that I know from Staten Island yet. A very successful businessman, but he lives down in the Five Towns. But he called me yesterday to wish me well. He says, but I tell you, I'm going with sugar. I get up in the morning and I go to Davin and Shachris and I have a Daf Yomi. At nighttime, I go to Mincha Mariv. And he says, but in between, I go with sugar. So I said, well, play golf. So he said, golf, yeah, my friends play golf. Golf is not for me. I said, so learn some. He said, I'm going to Daf Yomi. So, he gave me something to think about not going with sugar in the afternoon day. But Joe, you said it's doable. That's what you chatted me. You said,
Yep, and I don't regret it for a minute.
Okay, that's good. Does your
We're
wife-
going to miss you Sunday morning, Rabbi.
Oh, the lady show. Is that Debbie speaking up? I guess it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ladies, and I always said that it's for the ladies here that I learned the most. It's very true. The ladies were not just attentive listeners and participants, they were challenging. And Debbie was among those. I couldn't get away with nonsense, couldn't get away with not being prepared. And, if there's anything that was said wrong, scratch their ears. And I think
It doesn't have to end.
Well, that's going to be largely up to the new rabbi. Right now, I don't want to cross anything. I did clear with the rabbi by giving the 9 o'clock in the morning Mishnah Berurah shir, but all the other shirim he really has to give. I don't want to step on his toes in any way. So, but we'll see how, we're here and how.
It's okay. You don't have to do it at the same time.
Well, we'll see.
COVID gave us one thing
You
that's
gotta
good,
give this rabbi a chance. You gotta give this rabbi.
but
I'm
if
sure he'll do
COVID
good.
gave us one good thing, so
A what?
If COVID is one good thing for us,
Who opened?
COVID,
Oh, COVID.
it's the
You mean
Zoom.
the
That's it.
Zoom.
Yes.
It happens to be, you happen to be right. I find Zoom, it's a wonderful format. All my shiurim are on Zoom. And this gathering, as you see, is on Zoom. This gathering had its humble beginnings when because of COVID, we couldn't come to shul. As we started with this Thursday night shiur, the Drasha, to substitute for that. And then it morphed into the Drasha/lecture program. But in any case, I say goodbye and
Good
have
luck,
a great
Rabbi.
Friday,
Good
everybody.
luck.
Shalom.
Refuah shlema.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Shalom.